because it's not fucking at the night and I'm not fucking drinking. So I got my Chimex in here with me and fucking I busted out the.
Yeah, pretty much. We are screwed.
Flip that for the thumbnail for it.
Oh yeah. I had a thought this morning. Wanted to share with you, ask you a question. You ever laying down or sitting there and you get a weird itch on your balls and it makes it feel like there's like, I don't know, like a bug crawling on it? It's like a weird type of itch. It makes it feel like it's a bug crawling on your balls.
No, I think you got crabs.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should probably shave them.
Well, since my vasectomy, what I will get is this sharp shooting pain from my ball sack all the way to my butthole. And it's one of those ones you'll be driving on the road and all of a sudden it hits you and you got to fucking fully extend and fucking toes go straight out.
That's probably a hernia. Because I don't get that. And I have a vasectomy. So. Did you just fucking throw up?
Yeah. How can you tell?
Here we are, back again. And we're going to go max today, so let's fucking do it.
Come on.
So, one thing that I would love to start this show out with real quick as to, and it's going to tie together as to why this is a good thing that we have in this country, which is the Second Amendment, right? And we love the Second Amendment because there's a reason we have the Second Amendment, right? And that reason is to protect against what? Dustin, share with the class.
Tyranny.
But there is a myriad of other things that we do that the Second Amendment gives us, right? And that is protection of family, property, right?
Exactly.
And this video gives us a very good insight as to that subject. So I wanted to share with the class. This dude coming down the stairs in the middle of the night. Okay. Now, Dustin, he grabbed his trusty, I don't know exactly what it is, but it's an AR and it's a 5.56 caliber. What would you say he's coming down to find in said house in the middle of the night as he heard some bumps in the night? What do you think he's about to find?
Mexicans.
Okay. Any other guesses?
Joe Biden.
Give me a serious guess.
A fucking robber.
Okay. Puts his tag light on.
Depends on where he lives.
Guessed right. It's a fucking black bear. Look at that.
Yeah. Yeah, up north that shit happens all the time. That's why I started thinking about it.
Yeah, but think about that shit. What are you going to do if you come down with a bat or a golf club or some bullshit and there's a fucking bear? What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
I'm popping that motherfucker in the nose and fucking running my fucking fat ass back upstairs.
Yeah, after it fucking mauls you for 10 minutes and you're going to be in the Revenant all of a sudden trying to survive. Like,
oh yeah,
this is a good fucking representation why the Second Amendment grants us plenty of fucking reasons to why we have our right to bear arms, not just to fight government tyranny, but this right here.
Yeah. Actually, you know what I'd do? Have you seen that video of the fucking black bear that Shane Gillis is showing Rogan? and where that fucking black bear is like rubbing its back on something, and it's got one of those bungee straps, and it swings around and hits him in the dick, and he drops like a man.
Yeah,
I'd probably hit that black bear in the balls.
Well, now if it jumps down on the fucking ground on all fours, ready to attack your ass, like that one did. That came off the table like on all fours, ready to lunge. So, but still, I mean, perfect example of why, you know, you don't bring a knife to a bear fight.
Oh yeah.
But I lead with that video as to we have the Second Amendment to protect against government tyranny, and government tyranny starts with attacking what? The First Amendment.
Yep.
First Amendment is the first thing that the government will attack, because if we don't have the right to say what we want, to express how we want, to worship how we want, then what do we have? We do not have our freedom of anything. Exactly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, we serve the country to fight for, you know, our constitutional rights. You know, we took that oath to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And right now it looks like we got a lot of domestic right now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And it's sad when you see that. Now, one thing I want to address real quick is a lot of people, and it's not a left or right issue. This is just people in general. They try to sit there and when they say, and I don't want to say like this is a Trump issue either, because it's always like when certain presidents get in. Yes, it's mostly when Republicans get in that they say this, but I heard it when Biden was in. I heard it when Obama was in too, but it's mostly when Republicans get in that they'll say, well, he's in charge of the military. So what do you think what he's going to do? He's going to use the military to do all this stuff. And my immediate response to people when they say that the president, because yes, he's the commander in chief, he's in charge of the military, and the military falls under the executive branch, not the National Guard, because that's a part that technically, unless they're activated through legislature and stuff like that, they fall under the states. But still, the active duty military and the reserves fall under the executive branch. So yes, commander in chief falls under the president. They think that we're so blind to loyalty to the president that we immediately lose our sense of self-righteousness and like our sense of self-worth, that we would just blindly turn our weapons on our fellow citizens and stuff like that. They think that we're so blind to truth, because now, while it is hard to sometimes differentiate between lawful and unlawful orders when you're serving, because you may not feel, it may not feel right sometimes when you're doing certain things, but you obviously like, you can't just outright disobey a direct order because you get in trouble, you know? And
oh yeah, absolutely.
So, but obviously when it comes to, if this is a hypothetical to anybody who's watching, okay, this is hypothetical. If a president was to give an order for active duty troops to march on cities and start opening fire and stuff like that, that is an illegal, unlawful order. I think everybody can agree, and active duty troops should disobey that outright, and there would be no repercussion on that. I mean, that I think that's pretty self-evident. That is a hypothetical, and just thinking of like the most outrageous thing that could ever happen.
But the problem with that is if we got to that point and that occurred, number one is there's too many soldiers out there that would just blindly follow the orders because they don't want to get in trouble. They don't want to rock the boat. Okay.
Yeah. You'll have those types, but my overall thought, my overall saying is they think that everybody in the military will be so blind to follow their orders, which they won't be. My goodness of most of the military would not follow that versus the the minority wouldn't. But you're saying, but what I'm saying is like when it comes to these trained killers and stuff like that versus the support system of which is the majority of the military. That's what I'm telling you as like, there's only so much you can do with military support structure, infrastructure, and mobilization without the support structure, which is what I fell into before you get into the train people to go out there, right? If you don't have the support structure to mobilize and get these guys out there, which I think that's where you would have the most of the people that would not follow those orders, then you're not going anywhere. Am I fair to say that? Am I fair to say that?
Ooh. Yes,
I think that with my types of people, the support structure who would mobilize and get everybody that would fall into your structure of the military that you served, without me being, if my types of people were to be like, no, fuck that, we're not doing this, you would go nowhere.
Okay, so big picture, small picture. Big picture, yes, we would need support. Small picture to deploy, get off the ground. Boots off the ground, back to ground, into theater. You don't need a whole lot of support staff, especially if it's somewhere on our own.
For large scale mobilization.
Really?
Because you got because because you got to think about this. You got to think about this way. We're not just talking about simple. Like you guys, I know you guys could drive your own MACVs and get out there, right? I know you could do that. Exactly. What I'm talking about is this. When you're talking about large scale mobilization of needing aircraft, all the ISUs.
We wouldn't use any of that. But not for martial law, not on our ground. What we would do is we would jump in our fucking Strikers and Humvees and Bradleys and whatever we got to do. 5 tons. They roll out, so you're going to send out units from Kelly Hill to go around Georgia. You're going to send, guys out of Bragg. You're going to send 82nd out of Bragg, and they're going to, control that area. You're going to send, your guys at Fort Hood. They're going to go and probably police Austin, and then you're going to just diversify beyond that. Now, I think Texas would be one of the last places they would try that bullshit in, but it's easy mobilization. It's wheels to the ground. You get an order, jump in the truck. This is what we're doing. You're going to do a brief, and this is what we're looking at. We're going to be acting as law enforcement. Is how they're going to sell that shit. We need to keep people in their house. They're under curfew. They're under this, that, the other. That's how they're going to do it. If it's
we semi saw that, not with military, obviously. We semi saw that with COVID, especially in Minnesota with Tim Walz, because he was doing that with the police.
Yeah, absolutely. And then on top of that, so we've seen it many times in Louisiana whenever hurricanes hit, whenever they bring National Guard and the police in there, and they do these mandatory evacuations or mandatory lock-ins, curfews, all that shit. And I think, what was it, Katrina? A handful of people got killed by the police during that time.
I'm sure. I was so young that I don't remember too much about that. Reading into it that much of that issue. All I remember about I'm getting ahead of myself. All I remember about Hurricane Katrina during that time is all the, I guess you can call them like refugees, but people that came from New Orleans over to Houston because, they were coming over here while they were doing all that. We got a lot of people at our high school that fuck them, dude. They were assholes. They were always trying to fucking act like they were. Yeah. I mean, you were graduated then, I think, by then because there was a couple of guys that got into high school and they thought they were hot shit and they got the fuck beat out of them because they thought they were like coming in. I'm from New Orleans. Just like, fuck you, dude. Like we're sitting here trying to help you and you're gonna come in here like you're hot shit. Fuck you, dude. But yeah.
I had already enlisted by that time.
Yeah, you're already graduated because I only went to high school with you 1 year. Whatever. Okay, so we're getting off on a rabbit hole, but this is why I bring this up. Now, we talked about this, and we've actually published an article on it on our website, and we've posted it on our socials, but we haven't done an episode on it, and it is starting to bleed over into our government, so I feel like we need to cover it. Just at least, regardless of our size of our platform, we need to put it out there. Just it's getting coverage in certain aspects, but based on what I found, remember whenever I told you that I felt like I accidentally found a conspiracy or a cover up or something. And then here I am. I felt like I can't stop building this timeline. And then now, based on what I put together today that I haven't talked to you about, updating it, which is why I want to talk about this today and tie this all together. I think once I'm done and I put it all together and talk about what you already know, from everything, and then build on what I added today, which you don't know. I think you'll see what I mean here. So,
hold on before we get into that.
What?
I have been a family terrorist lately.
Is that right?
You see this little fucking device right here?
What is that? What is it? Yeah.
Can you hear that?
Yeah, it's fucking loud as shit. Stop. Okay, so, it sounds like a cricket. Why?
I turned it on the cricket. I've been hiding these everywhere. I bought 30 of them. I've been getting phone calls and texts. Why the fuck did you put that in my vehicle? Or why the fuck? I get a phone call the other night. I'm too fucking old for this. I'm crawling around on the ground searching for where this fucking sound is. Blah, 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 blah. My father tells me, he's like, hey, just to let you know, that fucking cricket you put in Courtney's brand new SUV, they didn't know what it was. And they set up a service appointment to figure out what that fucking sound is. And I'm like, did you fucking tell them what it was? He starts giggling and says, nope, but they'll figure it out. I'm like, what the fuck? But yeah, I'm that asshole. Fuck, actually, so one of them got put in Elaine's sister's car, and she ended up finding it. Well, she owns a company out of Beaumont, staffing company. So if any of y'all listen to this, y'all need some work or you need some employees, go see Infinity Staffing in Beaumont. They're awesome. Anyways, so she took one of these and hid it behind a picture in their dispatch office. Well, she's got a ex-vet in there. I don't remember if he was Army or what he was. So this motherfucker worked a 10-hour day and only worked about 15 minutes of the whole day. He searched for this motherfucker the entire goddamn time. So then what they did was they turned it off the next day and didn't have it going. So he sat in the office all day and he didn't hear nothing. Well, then the next day they moved it to a different picture, turned it back on, and fucking turned it on that day. This motherfucker, and you know how fucking military minds work. That shit, we will fucking pull the drywall off the goddamn wall to find this motherfucker. But yeah. These things have been fucking awesome lately. Anyways, that's all.
So, Project Nimbus. What do you remember me telling you about it? Just what it is, not everything that I built. What that specifically is.
Okay, that they were shutting down, or they were, I don't know how you would describe it, but there was a failure on the servers where nothing was working. The Amazon server, all that shit. Is that what you're talking about? Is that what you're
No, that's what I feel like I'm connecting. Now, Project Nimbus just by itself. Now, so as you look up here, Project Nimbus is a $1.2 billion cloud computing contract signed in April 2021 between the Israeli government and Google Cloud Platform and Amazon Web Services. It provides comprehensive public cloud infrastructure, including AI, machine learning, data analytics, and storage, primarily to Israeli government ministries, agencies, municipalities, and the defense establishment, including the Israeli Defense Forces, or IDF. So, this is a very, very controversial contract that was put together back in April 2021. Okay. Now, the only reason I came upon this whole thing was back in October. We remember that big old cloud outage for AWS, right?
Yeah.
It was, I believe, 3 days. Let me bring it up real quick.
Was it that long?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm bringing it up real quick. October 20th, AWS services recover after day long. So it says it was a day, but this was a major, major outage, if you guys remember. Now,
yeah,
I mean, it was dominating news cycles like worldwide because everybody fucking uses AWS, right? Like everybody uses it. Now, when it comes to using all of cloud platforms in general, almost, it just feels like AWS is the main thing, right? Because when it comes down to the usage of it, right? I believe it goes AWS, Google, and then Microsoft Azure. Those are the top 3. Okay. So when AWS went down, of course, it didn't do much for, us, or, it didn't really hit me or anything like that. It's just everybody was going on like, oh, AWS is out, AWS is out. So I was just like, oh, well, that sucks, right? Now, the only reason I kind of started digging into this was because Azure went down, which is Microsoft Azure Cloud Services, right? Now, when my buddy said, like, was talking about how he's like, how AWS went down, right? I was like, yeah, sucks or whatever. He's like, yeah, well, you know how now Azure went down. It's kind of weird. I was just like, what's Azure? I'd never heard the term before. And he was like, that's Microsoft Cloud Services. He's like, it's kind of weird that these major cloud platforms are just all of a sudden going down. I was just like, I'm on it. I'm going to start digging. Now, and then let's just kind of go right here. So you got Microsoft. And this was the week after, October 29th. Okay. And it hit like hitting 365 services and stuff like that, right? So, and so it wasn't like huge, or I guess deep affecting as much as AWS was. Okay.
Yeah.
But still major.
But honestly,
platform.
I think it might have hit worse than AWS for a simple fact that look at how many corporations use all Microsoft products. And
no, totally
emails,
agree.
Everything. Yeah.
Totally agree. But when you're talking about as far as widespread as what everyday normal people use, you have people that are hosting and using AWS cloud platforms for like I know not YouTube, but for like those types of platforms. AWS is more widespreading than Azure than you use for like 365 specifically, right?
Yeah.
So again, Azure goes down. Then I start looking into this. I was like, and at first my sole look to anything was purely who benefits from this.
Yeah.
So I was looking at a pure profit. Like, what company benefits from Amazon and Microsoft going down when it comes to cloud platform, right? So I just started digging. And I look
at... Who is a tech wizard, Rustie?
Well, I would say probably Elon, or maybe whoever.
Elon motherfucking Musk.
Yeah, maybe. But then you could also say whoever's in charge of Google. And then you could also say other tech guys like Larry Ellison. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just throwing names out there. But that's what I started looking at, right? So I started looking at what was stock bumps, what kind of major acquisitions, or sell whatever was going on in that time frame. That was my first look. Okay. And I wasn't really finding anything too major, to anything that maybe lead down of like, okay, maybe someone has been trying to push down stock on Amazon, and because obviously the big person would be Google in this platform, because you're taking down the other two competitors directly with Google in order to boost their stock. That would have been the number one person. Now, there was nothing in that aspect that made me believe that was them, because there was just nothing that saw a big jump in stock or any major acquisitions, any big contracts that came along in that aspect. Now, as I was digging and I started to see connections of all three of Microsoft, Amazon, and Google, then I started to find my way to Project Nimbus. And when I was like, the fuck is this? I have no idea what this is, and I've never heard of this before. So that's when I started putting together that timeline that I made. Let's start going through this timeline. And as we go through this timeline, I have links to, so everybody can see my work. Now, I want to make everything clear to anyone watching that this timeline is based off my research and speculation. I'm not giving any for sure this is not conviction. This is alleged. Okay. And this may be one giant coincidence, but for all I know, I mean, like I said, we take the Ian Carroll rule. Don't trust us. Trust yourself. Do your own research. Now, as far back as I can find from public knowledge on the internet, okay, December 2020 is when the first public notions of Project Nimbus is put out there. Okay. And Google and Amazon are both a part of the Project Nimbus contract, right? So December 2020, there's a memo leaked from Google, a Google lawyer who looked over the contract. And he said, if Google wins the competition, we will need to accept a non-negotiable contract terms favorable to the government, meaning the Israeli government, concerns that the Israeli government has unilateral right to impose contract changes, meaning they can do whatever changes to the contract that they want, and Google cannot say otherwise, the lawyer warned. So here's the article that I have linked here. And when we post this, there will be a link to the article or to the timeline in the article on our website. If anybody wants to see. So right here is what we're talking about. So everybody can see January 2021. There is a risk assessment during the Nimbus bidding that flagged human rights concerns, limited oversight, and potential abuses in Palestinian territories. Okay, that was implied in the menu. This is called the Selenite Risk Assessment. This was in January of 2021. This comes from the Business of Human Rights Resource Center. Okay. April 2021. Google and Amazon are awarded the $1.2 billion Nimbus cloud contract with Israeli government, military, and intelligence, signed despite the risk, projecting $3.3 billion in revenue by 2027. April of 2024. Democracy Now! Publishes an article that Google fires 50 plus employees who are in protest of Project Nimbus. August 2024. Responsible Statecraft published an article that the IDF is using Amazon Cloud to store intel on everyone in Gaza. December of 2024, the New York Times reports portions of the leaked selenite risk assessment and related documents contradicting Google's assurances for non-military use. February of 2025, Google amends its AI principles, removing bans on weapons surveillance tech amid Nimbus scrutiny. This was reported in the Washington Post, CNN, and The Hill. May 12th, 2025, The Intercept publishes a major expose on full leaks revealing unrestricted data access, Israeli jurisdiction overrides, and a classified team for sensitive handling. May 13th, 2025, the Alphabet board rejects shareholder proposal for Nimbus human rights audit. ADL urges rejection, calling it anti-Israel. This was reported by Yahoo News, and there is the full SEC filing. So you can go actually to the SEC site here. When we get into October of last year now, which is the month that the AWS and the Azure outages happened. Now, this is kind of when things got interesting, right? Now, if you look here, so October 13th, CNBC reports Amazon fires a Palestinian engineer for protesting Nimbus's role in Israeli surveillance during Gaza operations, sparks boycott calls amid and recirculates the leaks in May, right? Which is the leaks about the intercept and the rejection of the Nimbus human rights audit. Okay, so those are the leaks he's talking about, right? Now, go here, right? Here's the article, okay? And it was, you would think this would get a little bit of traction. This is CNBC, right? But and it's talking about for protesting Amazon's $1.2 billion contract with the Israeli government and military known as Project Nimbus, which he states constitutes collaboration in the ongoing genocide in Gaza. Okay. So this is a Palestinian engineer. Okay. Now, we go back to the timeline here. October 1st through the 20th of that month, X activity is surging, right? On Project Nimbus. So right here, I built the timeline, right? Thread criticizing Google's Q3 earnings for glossing over Nimbus ethics, calls for divestment. Brief mention in cloud services update, advancing secure cloud solutions for global partners. No direct Nimbus reference, but replies flooded with protest demands. October 8th, repost of leaked document, unverified alleged Nimbus data share risking. This isn't innovation. This is complicity. October 12th. Project Nimbus supports civilian infrastructure like healthcare and education. October 15th, expanding AWS capabilities in the Middle East region, implicit Nimbus ties. October 18th, cloud tech in conflict zones raises surveillance questions, tags Amazon and Google. And October 20th, Nimbus rollout hits, 40% protests intensify at Google HQ, includes protest photos, because this is from a Project Nimbus watchdog on X, right? Now, the big kicker is when all this is happening, all this big surge of activity going on, October 20th, the AWS outage happens, and that takes over news cycles worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
That is a little coincidental, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely.
It just, as all of that is surging, all of this news surging about Project Nimbus and is gaining traction, you get the Palestinian engineer fired for protesting. You have all those leaks in May. You have, what was it? So like I said, you have in April of the year before, the Google fired 50 plus employees for protesting Project Nimbus. But then you have February of last year, Google amending its AI principles, and it removes the ban on weapons and surveillance tech. You have the May leaks, the Intercept publishing a major expose on revealing unrestricted data access. And then the Alphabet board, which Alphabet owns Google, rejects the shareholder proposal for Nimbus human rights audit, and the ADL, Anti-Defamation League, urges rejection, calling it quote unquote anti-Israel. That was published by both Yahoo News and SEC. Like I said, the SEC, you can go look at the filing itself. Okay. So all of that surging in the mere months before, and then X activity surging in the weeks before, and then AWS outage happens, takes over news cycles. Now, that was only for a day. And then as we can see, just mere week after, X starts surging again. Okay? Criticizing Amazon's Nimbus complicit audit, whitewash linking to the new FOIA docs. Calls for boycotting Amazon. October 22nd, announcement of October 28th, virtual rally against Project Nimbus. October 23rd, Google Nimbus expansion, $200 million addendum for AI surveillance tools. October 24th, repost above cloud for kill lists. Nimbus is the new normal in tech complicity. October 25th, video of London protests outside Google HQ, chanting "In Nimbus now." October 26th, proud to support secure cloud for global partners, including Project Nimbus. October 27th, Nimbus violates export controls, deep dive into U.S. compliance risk. October 28th, Google remains committed to ethical AI. Nimbus adheres to all policies. Okay. Then October 29th, report teaser. Project Nimbus enables mass surveillance in occupied territories. Also on October 29th, from Elon Musk, Nimbus sounds like a storm cloud for free speech. Who's funding the lightning? That was by Elon Musk himself. Also on October 29th was this major bombshell article from The Guardian. Revealed Israel demanded Google and Amazon to use a secret wink to sidestep legal orders. Okay, in Project Nimbus. Okay, their winking mechanism is what they're calling it. Now, on October 29th, what happened, Dustin? Microsoft Azure outage went down.
Yeah.
Same day. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, folks. Same day. Then more reporting and coverage, right? But it still doesn't end there, guys, because as we keep on going, so we keep on building the timeline here. November 8th. Leaked documents revealing Google and Amazon's secret agreement to notify Israel of investigations and grant irrevocable IDF access under Project Nimbus despite potential human rights violations. November 9th. The video explaining Project Nimbus as a $1.2 billion Google Amazon cloud contract enabling Israeli military surveillance. And the YouTube link exposing how Project Nimbus powers Israel war cloud. Links Project Nimbus to broader U.S.-funded Israel surveillance efforts in a reply about Zionist cash sponsors. November 10th. Google and Amazon's supply of cloud services supporting Israeli military actions through Project Nimbus. Square Web reposts the same expose video on Nimbus military implications. November 11th, reports on Plus 97.2 magazine investigation into Project Nimbus, where Amazon and Google and Amazon agreed to a winking mechanism, like we just talked about. It just keeps going on and on, guys. I mean, all the way going up. Then on November 17th, the opinion piece on Project Nimbus from the IOL. Amazon, Project Nimbus, and corporate complicity with genocide from the IOL. That was on November 17th. Okay. And then November 18th, Cloudflare outage, full outage effect.
And what was Cloudflare? Cloudflare's the Grok
Cloudflare. Yeah. But
Flare,
that, yeah, that, no, not Grok, X.
Or X. Yeah. That's, well, Grok.
Yeah. I mean, I would assume Grok uses the same one, but X was the major platform that was affected. Okay.
Mm.
Full outage effects. Now, this is where some more interesting things come into effect here. Okay. So full outage effect. Now, the co-founder of Cloudflare is Lee Holloway, who also co-founded Project Honeypot in the early 2000s. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Lee Holloway. Lee Holloway is a renowned software engineer, best known for his foundation contributions to web security and performance technologies. He also co-founded Project Honeypot in 2003, along with Matthew Prince, who later became Cloudflare's CEO. This open source initiative, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so purpose. What is Project Honeypot? Purpose. It's a distributed system that embeds lightweight honeypot code into websites. This code detects and logs suspicious activity such as automated spam, harvesting, or brute force attacks by collecting data on IP addresses, user agents, and behavior. Impact. The project quietly scaled over the years, amassing data from thousands of participating sites. It helped web administrators identify and block threats, serving as an early warning system for email spam and web abuse. Today, it remains active as a community-driven tool for monitoring online threats. So, this guy has a very big history when it comes into cybersecurity.
Yeah.
As well as his role in online clouds, right? So, and then when it comes to Cloudflare, I keep saying Cloudflare, but Cloudflare, relation to the Israeli government, they have a data center that operates directly in Tel Aviv that launched in March 2018. Now, this is just an operating center. It doesn't mean they're based out of there, because different cloud centers, clouds will have like operating centers all over the world, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, they have a center that operates directly in Tel Aviv. So, what's funny though is that there's an article that criticizes Microsoft by the Seattle Times on November 19th for Project Nimbus. Now, what the fuck, right?
Yeah.
Where did this come from? So, was it this one? Yeah. So so this is on what is this? Whatever world, but it's
is that a reputable site?
Yeah, but look, so right here it says the Seattle Times, like it's put from
okay, so they reshared it, reposted.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like it's on this site, but it's from the Seattle Times. So 2 months after Microsoft is the first time restricted services to an Israeli military unit, protesters were again on the company's doorstep to demand Microsoft sever all ties with Israeli government, right? So they continue to chant, accusing Microsoft and its executives of profiting off the Israel-Hamas war and linking the company's technology with accusations of war crimes in Gaza and the West Bank. Protesters also handed out flyers to Microsoft employees and other passersby. In August, The Guardian and two regional publications, plus 972 magazine and Israeli Palestinian outlet and Hebrew language outlet Local Call reported that Israeli military spy agency Unit 8200, I've heard of them, was using a Microsoft cloud computing server to store surveillance data, including phone calls on civilians in Gaza. That report triggered an independent investigation by Microsoft and the company eventually said it found evidence that supported some of the claims and cut specific services to Unit 8200. Interesting. Yeah.
Well, so Plus 972 magazine is an Israeli left-wing news and opinion online magazine.
Yeah, I have some of their articles on there too, and everything that I've seen from their articles checks out pretty good.
Okay, it was founded by Lisa Goldman.
Yeah, because a lot of the stuff when I see in Plus 972, a lot of the same stuff gets reported on like what it'd be like on CNBC. Like they do really good news.
So the magazine is largely financed by reader contributions. In addition, the Heinrich Boyd Foundation, a German think tank affiliated with German Green Party.
All right, then.
Provide about 6,000 euros in the first year of funding in 2010. It continues to provide funds according to the National and Social Justice Fund at the New Israel Fund grant. Or it granted 10 grand in the first year and it made another grant in 60,000. And between 2018 and 2021, they received 450 grand from the Open Society Foundation, which I don't know what the fuck that is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering, what kind of, how reputable they are and if they're leaning any which way biased information. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it seems like from what it looks like is pretty non-biased, and it says a unique model of journalism.
Yeah, like I said, everything that I've read from them is pretty good.
Bro, it's Israeli and Palestinian news collaborations.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I might need to look into them more.
Yeah. Now, the bigger picture that I made when it came to Cloudflare specifically, when it came to targeting Cloudflare with their outages.
Mm-hmm.
This was my interpretation, or I guess determination based off of what I found. Now, take it or leave it. I don't really care. Do your own research, make your own determination. Cloudflare is a cloud platform, as we know. Like they host Rumble. Rumble uses Cloudflare.
Okay.
X uses Cloudflare. Obviously Grokwood is too. Now, another thing that uses Cloudflare is WhatsApp. Okay. And with the partial effect outage still going on up from the 18th, which was a full outage, all the way up to the 22nd, the major platforms that were still affected were WhatsApp and X. Okay. Mm-hmm. A conservative global estimate news consumption between WhatsApp and X as a whole is 25 to 28%. Now you might say, that's not that much. That's actually a lot for the globe.
Yeah.
Right? Now, 38% of the global population uses WhatsApp for just basic communication. Because you got to think about it, that uses internet, not phone numbers.
Yeah.
Right? Well, it uses phone number, but it goes through the internet, right?
Yeah.
So, because like I used WhatsApp when I was overseas to talk to people back here at home, right?
Yeah. And Signal uses AWS, right?
I don't know. I mean, maybe, but I don't know. I just know WhatsApp uses Cloudflare.
Okay.
And then in the Middle East specifically, and then 55 to 60% uses WhatsApp in Asia and the Middle East, and then 4 to 5% use it in North America. Right now, what I think is interesting about that is that people communicating in these areas, specifically of Asia and the Middle East, which Middle East area and the Asia area where all this conflict is going, you have over half of them that are using this platform that use for communication and some for news, which would, I mean, if you're using your phone for both communication and news, and you're using X for news and WhatsApp for communication, and you can't use it for that period of time, that's a pretty targeted attack when you think about it, right? So that was my determination on it, on a pretty targeted way of why you would shut down that or target that cloud platform, and it would go down.
Hey, listen to this real quick. So Signal, which server do you think they use?
I would assume AWS.
They use AWS, Google Computer Engine, and Microsoft Azure. They use 3 servers. All 3.
That doesn't sound secure at all.
I was thinking the same fucking thing.
Okay. Well, now, so this is where we left off, where I left off with you the last time I gave you the update. Okay? Now, moving on to what I found, what I got today put together, and why I wanted to talk about it now. Okay? So, there was a video on X and, let me bring up the X one. It's easier to watch. On Facebook and X of someone talking about Project Nimbus.
Who are, have a very close relationship with Israel. Can you discuss, like, for example, Project Nimbus and how Amazon supports Israel and, basically enables the genocide?
Absolutely, yeah. Amazon has everything to do with this genocide as well. The Project Nimbus, the investment of $7.2 billion along with Microsoft and Google and all these other tech companies, the intelligence that is being used is the Amazon Web Services. I say that all the time, that Amazon Web Services is essentially the Iron Dome. And we can look right here in the U.S. They have billions of dollars with our own military-industrial complex, with our own Pentagon. And it's the same intelligence that's being used for the rain cameras to surveil, the same intelligence that's being used with the police technology, with the military technology here, right here in the U.S. is the same one that's being used over there to target and kill innocent Palestinians. So once again, another reason why I got on the flotilla is to connect these struggles. As a former Amazon employee, as somebody who organized against Amazon, as a labor leader, we have to spread awareness to people who don't know these things. A lot of people don't know how invested these corporations and tech companies are into this genocide, and they need to.
So, I mean, you have just smaller, people in the company that are aware of stuff like this, and
yeah,
what he said is correct. Okay. Then on December 3rd, an article expresses concerns that Israel's Nimbus cloud computing project aimed at upgrading government services may face funding shortages due to prioritizing urgent security needs in the 2026 budget. Now, this is where I felt like we need to discuss this now, because December 15th, Bloomberg reports on shareholders' resolutions targeting Amazon's AI work with Israel under Project Nimbus and with the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, calling for greater transparency on potential human rights impacts. So now it looks like that they want to bleed this over to us.
Yeah. Well, and so I don't know if you're aware of this. Maybe you and I have talked about it. I don't remember. But there's that $10 billion project going on right there over the Texas border in Louisiana for the biggest AI facility owned by Meta in the Western Hemisphere.
Nope.
Yeah, so it's a big AI facility and like cloud storage facility right over 4 hours from us.
December 16th, DCD reported a shareholders' request for Amazon to report on AWS usage in Gaza by the Israeli military and by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, specifically referring Project Nimbus. Now, this is where I'm going to tie this all together, Dusty. Okay? I'm going to go back a little bit. I'm going to show you where I think this is all tying together. September 5th, 2025. Reports of Google signing a $45 million contract with Netanyahu to promote Israeli messaging. I mean, that's a hefty, hefty contract just to report Israeli messaging, like good propaganda, essentially, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 6-month campaign uses YouTube and Google Display on video and Video 360 platform to distribute videos denying famine in Gaza, according to the report. One foreign ministry video declaring there is food in Gaza. Any other claim is a lie. Garnered over 6 million views, largely through paid promotion. Government contracts describe the campaign as Hespara, a Jewish term for public relations or propaganda. So they're spending $45 million just to promote good vibes about Israel. Okay.
It's like, why don't you just have enough good vibes and good intel that everything's positive? You don't have to spend money on fake fucking propaganda that shows nefarious intent when you have to spend that kind of fucking money to overshadow the bullshit you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Now, go to this video that I found today.
Christian influencers. Okay. You said, we talked about the woke right. And you said, I call it the woke Reich. That's a brilliant. The woke Reich. Because these people, they're not any different from the woke left. I mean, they're insane. They're but they're actually meeting on some of the things. And what we have to do is we have to secure that part of the base of our support in the United States. That is being challenged systematically. A lot of this is done with money. Money of NGOs, vast. Money of governments, vaster. Okay? We have to fight back. How do we fight back? Our influencers. I think you should also talk to them if you have a chance. To that community, they're very important. And secondly, we're going to have to use the tools of battle. The weapons change over time. You can't fight today with swords. That doesn't work very well, okay? And you can't fight with cavalry. That doesn't work very well. And you have these new things, like drones, things like that. I won't get into that. But we have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battlefields in which we're engaged. And the most important ones are on social media. And the most important purchase that is going on right now is TikTok. TikTok, number one. And I hope it goes through because it can be consequential. And the other one, what's the other one that's most important? X. X. That's very good. And, so we have to talk to Elon. He's not an enemy. He's a friend. We should talk to him. Now, if we can get those two things, we get a lot. And I could go on other things, but that's not the point right now. We have to fight the fight, okay? To give direction to the Jewish people and give direction to our non-Jewish friends or those who could be our Jewish our friends. Are we going to succeed with everyone? No. Will there be a strong counterpart? Yes.
So, the key things in this particular video is the weapons they use. The most important ones are social media. And the most important purchase that is going on is TikTok, right?
Who keeps fucking permabanning us? Hey, so speaking of that video you just showed, did you see the video of the guy that's trying to buy TikTok? Him talking about...
I'm getting there. So, because December 18th, NPR reports that TikTok signs a deal to give U.S. operations to Oracle-led investor group. That means the Oracle-led from who? Larry Ellison. Now, so when it comes to Larry Ellison, right? When we go to Larry Ellison, American businessman, entrepreneur, best known for co-founder of Oracle Corporation, which is the corporation investor group that is purchasing TikTok, right? Mm-hmm. So, very wealthy guy. I think he's the second richest guy in the world right now, right behind Elon, if I'm correct. Okay. Yeah. So, now, he has very strong, because he is American Jewish. So he is a very, very strong tie to Israel, not just because he's an American Jew, but he has deep business ties with Israel, as just basic Israel, like with business there and corporation, and the Israeli government, to include the IDF and everything. Okay.
Yeah.
He was actually in the bid for Project Nimbus, but he lost that bid to, of course, Google and AWS, because Oracle, the company he runs, was in bid for Project Nimbus, but he lost that bid. So now, as I say, going back to him, right? And I believe this is the video you're talking about right here. He also controls CBS, and he's trying to get Warner and CNN, Warner Brothers and CNN. Now, what I also did learn is he has a small control stake in X, like 2 to 3%. Obviously Musk is still the majority owner, but he has a small controlling stake in X.
Really?
But yeah. So, but this is where I'm starting to tie all this together, because where you have Netanyahu talking about wanting to control the most important purchase of TikTok and controlling social media narratives and everything like that. And you have the surveillance state with Project Nimbus. You have the TikTok now controlled. You have Google, Amazon, and Microsoft cloud platforms under control, because now with Google under control, then you control YouTube. So with Larry Ellison now in control of TikTok, and with this major cloud platforms with Project Nimbus, then you are getting closer to a controlled surveillance state, which is exactly what Larry Ellison wants. Don't believe me? Hear it from him.
Police will be on their best behavior, because we're constantly watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior, because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on. And it's unimpeachable. The cars have cameras on them. I think we have a squad car here someplace. But those kind of applications using AI, if we can use AI, and we're using AI to monitor the video.
He wants to everywhere be under surveillance, using AI to monitor everything. How China does. Everything be under surveillance.
Oh, yeah.
So therefore, you will not have freedom of self. That's who is now going to be in control of TikTok, and who is in control of CBS and Paramount, and who's trying to get control of Warner and CNN. Now, this here, Shlomo, it's a fucking dumbass name. He is
Shlomo the homo.
Yeah, he's an Israel billionaire, but he's also, I guess, some top Israeli official, defense official in cybersecurity. And like I said at the beginning of this, we had the Second Amendment to guarantee our First Amendment, because if we don't have our First Amendment, we lose everything. That having the First Amendment is what guarantees our freedom as a whole. Because we don't have freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and freedom to worship how we want, then you are not a real person at that point. You're just a puppet to do whatever the government wants you to do.
Absolutely.
And this right here, based off of everything I just talked about, is what I believe is what they're trying to get us to. And they're successfully getting us to there as we speak, because our own fucking government is doing nothing to stop it.
Network, Shlomo Kramer, also one of the founders of Checkpoint, another big cyber company. Shlomo, it's great to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
How is AI, cyber warfare, shaping geopolitics right now?
So AI is going to revolutionize cyber warfare, from critical infrastructure to the fabric of society and politics, and undermining it, giving unfair advantage to authoritarian governments against democratic countries. First Amendment type of...
That's already happening?
That's already happening. You're seeing the polarization in countries that allow for the First Amendment and protect it, which is great. And I know it's difficult to hear, but it's time to limit the First Amendment in order to protect it. And quickly before it's too late.
What do you mean?
I mean that we...
How fucking dumb is that sentence? Time to limit the First Amendment in order to protect the First Amendment. That is the dumbest oxymoron or conflicting statement that I've ever heard in my entire life. And they're allowing this to happen fucking real time, and our government is doing nothing to stop it.
Yeah. Like, we vote for fucking these individuals in the Fed that are supposed to protect our constitutional rights. Where the fuck are they protecting our constitutional rights? They are trampling all over this shit.
Yeah. And then look right here. This is another perfect example of, they already kind of do it on TikTok, right? And this is what they do currently on Meta. And you hear it directly from Meta.
In addition to my work leading the Israel public policy team, I created a new role specifically focused on the Jewish diaspora. It is a privilege to represent Meta to Jewish communities worldwide. I am proud that Meta's commitment to addressing anti-Semitism on our platforms has remained steadfast, especially after October 7th. Our policies are industry-leading in protecting Jewish people and Israelis on our platforms. Our community standards include policies that prevent harassment, violence, and incitement, and include a robust framework to combat anti-Semitism. Our hateful conduct policy includes specific protections for Israelis and Jews. We banned Holocaust denial and distortion back in 2020. We changed industry thinking on this issue, designating denial as hate speech rather than misinformation. It wasn't just about facts, it was about protecting people from harmful conduct. We banned content with harmful stereotypes about Jews, such as the claim that Jews run the world or other major institutions. We updated our policies to recognize that the term Zionist can be used as a proxy for Jews and Israelis. We banned content claiming Zionists run the world or control the media, and we do not allow for dehumanizing comparisons of Zionists.
I mean,
Damn.
This is why, and because I brought this up to you the other day, like, I'm perfectly okay and understand how a private corporation, a private company, has the right to moderate and make their own judgment. But
Yeah.
like, obviously, when it comes to news, like CNBC, Fox, CNN, the government has no right to say, you can't do this, you can't do that, right? You can't censor them. That's freedom of press. Now, these social media platforms obviously have the right to do what they want in regards to limiting how or whatever, because it's a private corporation. But these have turned into news platforms.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
And it's almost gotten to a point where my perspective and my opinion and my belief is that these should be protected by the First Amendment, because now we don't have a right to express anything on these fucking platforms, because now they're protected of like, well, it's a private company. We can moderate how we want.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I get that. But then you get these news and publications that are only on social media. They don't have any other type of publication whatsoever. They're not on TV or anything else, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they hide behind that.
Yeah. Well, so, in January of 2025, okay, I'm going to say it like this. TikTok has been fucking shadow banning and perma banning us, and just think of how much they're doing to other individuals as well. Facebook luckily hasn't been doing it too bad for us. Like, I don't think we've had anything get blocked or banned off of Facebook. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know.
No, we just had ads that weren't approved, but that's it.
Yeah, but in 2025, January 2025, Zuckerberg said that the company had been pressured by Biden administration to censor certain content during the COVID-19 outbreak. That fake bullshit. But what he was saying is, he says we've reached a point, and this is a quote: "We've reached a point where it's just too many mistakes and too much censorship." He announced major changes to Meta policies, including elimination of third-party fact checkers in the U.S. and moving to a community notes system similar to X. Okay, so there's that. Okay, now Pavel Durov, I don't know who that guy is exactly right, how to say his name, but he's the Telegram founder. It says he has been very vocal about the government pressure since his arrest in France in late 2024. In an interview posted throughout 2025, including a notable clip on Lex Fridman's podcast, Durov discussed resisting demands from intelligence services to censor conservative voices in countries like Romania and Moldova. The secret deal is, so he refers to something called the secret deal. In December 2025, Durov alleged that the EU offered Telegram an illegal secret deal to quietly censor speech to avoid fines, a claim he said was similar to the offer made to Elon Musk's X. So the EU made illegal secret censorship deal, or offered one to both Musk and X, and that Pavel Durov with Telegram.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucking nuts. And then and then obviously, in January of just today, this is something from Musk. Musk continues to frame himself as a free speech absolutionist, or I don't know how to say that word.
Absolutist.
Whatever. Frequently using interviews and his platform to criticize censorship by both government and legacy media. As recent as January 2nd, 2026, he accused major news organizations of being lying propagandists for their secret coverage or selective coverage of political figures and gestures. So he just said that, yesterday? Yesterday was the second?
Today.
Or today? Okay. That was just today. He said that. So, at least we've got a couple of them that are standing out against it.
Yeah.
But fuck, bro, I'd rather see a lot more fucking stand against it.
Yeah. But that's why this is where I feel like this is all leading to. and with everything that I put together. And like I said, don't take my word for it. Don't take ours. Like, do your own research. You can, like, when we post this episode, I'll put the link to our Google Drive with the timeline with all the leaks on it. If y'all want to look at yourselves and everything like that, like, do your own research and come to your own conclusion. But so I say all that, like I said, to put all this together, to feel like I'm bringing something to, I guess, light with how I guess, dug it all up or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Andy Frisella recently, because I love watching his clips on X, because he's a real motherfucker. You know, he's, like he says, real as fuck, as his podcast, right? And I feel like this short 1 minute clip kind of puts it together exactly how like you and I and a lot of people are feeling. So
has the opportunity to be the greatest president ever, or he's going to go down in history as the biggest disappointment ever. It's one or the other now. Mm-hmm. And he's got himself painted in a corner. And the only thing that's going to resolve it is him legitimately doing exactly what he said he was going to do, meaning release the entire Epstein files, make the arrests necessary, deport the people that have come in, and really fix shit. And these things have to happen. And it doesn't seem like he's interested in that. He seems like he's much more interested in propping up Israel, doing things that his base does not fucking care about. I mean, if you think about like how he built his movement on what, quote unquote, America first, right? Make America great again. And it was against people like Lindsey Graham and like all these neocon, Israel fucking titty sucking motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Like, and now his movement seems to have like included all of those people and excluded the real America first crowd. That's going to be a big fucking mistake on his part. Trump is either.
I think that's the best fucking take that I've heard so far.
Yeah, I agree. I
think he hit it square on.
Yeah, nail on the head.
Yeah.
I agree.
So it's a lot, and wanted to put that out there, but yeah. So
yeah, I think it's a lot to unpack. I think some people may look at it as conspiracy theory bullshit, but look, a good conspiracy theory is rooted in facts. So look, it's fucked up. It really is. And there's so many weird associations between the different organizations and cloud services and Project Nimbus and the government and these other people. Yeah. And these people, being outspoken about, want to censor us and all that bullshit, as well as like guys like us are seeing it in day-to-day real world situations where we're putting shit online, discussing topics and information, and we're getting fucking blocked and banned for bullshit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's ridiculous. You can't say the name Nick Fuentes on X without getting permabanned. It's fucked
Not
up.
X,
You can't.
TikTok.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, TikTok. I'm sorry, TikTok. Like, you can't say, shit about fucking Israel. You can't say shit about the Charlie Kirk shit. Like, but meanwhile, you get on fucking TikTok and you start scanning through bullshit, and like, you might see these random fucking videos pop up, and it's fucking tits out for fucking feminism in France, or you might see like fucking crazy shit, bro. Like, it's like, how is my shit and your shit getting banned, but this other, like granted, I don't want my kids to watch a lot of the bullshit we say and all that. Like, some of it is good and it's okay, but fuck, we say a lot of bullshit and a lot of fucked up bullshit, and I don't want them to see that. Well, I'd rather them see and hear some of the bullshit I say or do than see some of this bullshit they're seeing on TikTok. You know what I mean? How is it that that shit is getting fucking passed through and it's okay, but saying an individual's name will get you permabanned, or saying that I don't think that the government has given us the truthful information on a situation gets you fucking banned. Or like, if you look at how many videos that we have that are straight blocked or banned on our account, and it's just like, I can see them that they're on there and they've been censored, and they were posted for 10 minutes or an hour or whatever, and then they get taken down, and it says, well, this is flagged for this, that, the other, and it's always bullshit. It is never good information. And TikTok won't let you necessarily type out a reason why you're appealing it. You have to give a fucking, it's just a checkbox. This doesn't violate community standards, or I think the community standards are too harsh for us, or I think it's this, that, the other. Like, all this bullshit. It's like, it's so much fucking bullshit. Like, it really is. And it pisses me off, the picking and choosing on how they do things, and that it doesn't follow in their narrative or their fucking propaganda. You're a fucking bad guy for speaking your mind and for being truthful to how you feel. Like, even if it's opinion based, you can't even give an opinion nowadays if it's conflicting to what they feel. But the shitty part is, if it's with their propaganda, they can give their opinion all day long, but when you go against it with fact, they're like, oh, no, fuck that fact. You're blocked. You're banned. You're this, you're that. It's completely absolute dog shit.
Yeah. And one last thing I want to say. As we've always stated from the beginning of all of our show, we are always 100% against governments, not against people, not against types of religion, not against, people are gonna come at us with the whole anti-Semite race, all this other stupid bullshit. We are against government tyranny, and that's all this comes down to, is government tyranny.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
Whether it be them, us, or both, it's government tyranny that we are against, that every normal person, no matter which fucking country you are living in, you should be against government tyranny. I mean, it's pretty fucking obvious, but that's where I'm going to leave it at. Thank you for dealing with us today. Like, comment, share, subscribe.
Hold on.
Check out his new light. It's fun. But please like, share, comment, subscribe. Get this out there. Let your friends know. Let them know that government tyranny is alive and well. We need to fight it. So, join us again. Let us know what you think. Please, please, please let us know what you think, because we do care.
Absolutely.
Sometimes, but we do care. Never forget, text forever, bitch.
Yep.